Okay. Um. So it's 4:56, 4:56 p.m. And I landed at like 8:30 in the morning. Well, no, technically it was like almost 9. I got out of the place and got here by like 11. And I didn't sleep at all on the plane. I tried to rest. I tried resting my eyes. It just there was the sleep component which just wasn't there. So I got here and I had like just I had a mini panic attack. Where it was like, oh my god, like I'm really tired and I'm like I'm not my stomach's not feeling great and I feel jet lagged and oh my gosh, there's like um it was just like catastrophizing. And I know when that happens, it's like that is just a panic attack that is like trying to make everything feel like it is like crazy at that moment. So I kind of worked through it, called a buddy. They happened to be like on, like, it was like early in the morning, like it was like 4 or 5 in the morning for them, and they're just up. They still hadn't gone to sleep. And I was like, oh, well, I'm glad that I can chat with them. So I chatted with them for a little bit. I kind of relaxed a little bit. And it was just nice to have that like moment where I could just take a chill pill for a second. Um, I went down and I got some water. I was panicking about the plug where like this thing that I got from Amazon, of course it doesn't work. So it's like I was like, how am I going to charge my things? Oh my god, I'm freaking out. And it was like, it's like, okay, you're fine. You actually are totally fine. Um, and so I ended up getting I went to a place. There was this really nice lady um, that runs like a small convenience store nearby. I thought she might have had it, but she didn't. But then she told me of this other place that's like a block or two away. And so I went there. They have so much stuff. Like it's basically it's like convenience store XL. Like it has a lot of stuff. Um, so I got like shampoo. I didn't get conditioner because I couldn't read the bottles. And then I tried using Google Translate, and of course the Google Translate wasn't working right because I hadn't updated the like Italian package in like 4 days, and I'm like, this is dumb that it's like doesn't work this way. Then later I find out actually it's not that the Italian package wasn't working. It was that I had it translating the wrong way, where it was trying to translate Italian into English. Or no, sorry, English into Italian. And it didn't see any English. And so it was just not working. Um, which is like, it's like, yeah, okay. Um, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's crazy. Um, and so I came back, I plugged my stuff in. Um, it's only a single cord and it's really small. And I'm like, but it's fine. Um, so yeah, I also found out that the thing that the lady told me, I don't know. I'll have to look on my like Comcast bill or whatever. It might be just a fucked bill for this 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have to call them again and be like, "Hey, so I was told about this one thing and da 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 whatever." Um, So I'm gonna have to deal with that. Um, oh, also, I did get the Comcast. I got it paused for up to 8 months, which is going to give me plenty of time to know where I'm going to live, and then I'll just move the Comcast to there. Because apparently you can just do that, which is cool. So, because I get like extra discounts because I've been with them for like 8 years. So, yeah. Anyway, I also wrote down. Uh, they said they have two silent times. In this place. So there's a bunch of people living here, and I guess two or three of them have been. I think it's two of them have been living here for quite a while, like a few years or whatever. And so yeah, I want to meet them at some point. Uh, because I think it'd be nice to just know like, hey, you've lived here for a while. Is there anything that's like really cool, like restaurants or whatever, right? Just to know. Um, because I feel like that's the best way you learn about the area. It's by the local people that live there. So so yeah, I also kind of like totally skipped over the plane, which I'll talk about in a second. But I just kind of wanted to get this stuff out of the way first, because I feel like it was most relevant. Yeah, so it's 2 to 4 p.m. and then 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., which is fine. I'm curious about the 2 to 4 p.m. I wonder if it's like, is I notice a lot of stuff closes in that like time window. So I'm wondering if it's like some sort of like cultural thing of like, okay, we like are quiet, or if it's like if it's something specific to here, or if it's just like in general, because it seems like there's like, I don't know. I'm just curious about it. But yeah, so I almost missed the 2 to 4 p.m. one, even though they have it like posted like everywhere. So it's like, I didn't like connect the dots, and I was like, oh, right, okay. Um, so so I'm keeping that in mind when I'm filming stuff here, doing the vlogs. I don't know. The tough part about filming here is going to be like, I'm either going to have to blur everyone, or I'm going to have to be really careful about where I'm filming. Um, so I'm definitely going to like figure out places to like film, but it might be like short things. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. Um, so yeah, doing like walk down the street, it might be fine so long as I'm like careful, but also that could just annoy people. So I don't want to like be that guy. So I'll have to I'll have to figure it out. Um, I also found out that apparently going to the Vatican and going to the Colosseum, you have to book tickets in advance. I'm sure they probably have like a way to do it like right then and there, but you probably have to stand in a crazy line or something. I don't know. Because he said there's like lines. The guy that brought me here, which by the way, he was incredibly helpful. So far I've had like all the people interactions have been awesome. So, it's just been like an internal thing rather than an external thing. In terms of like the panic attack stuff. It's also like realizing I'm here. Like, oh my god, I'm here. And it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, and I think being sleep deprived is like that's the worst. That is by far the worst. So I don't know. Um, oh right, I need to. Do I have the pen? Where did the pen go? Hold on. I'm lifting you up. Nope, you're not below. Where did I put the pen? Oh, it's on the table. Okay, well, I'll have to write it down. Then I need to get because I got burned with just being outside a little bit, and I already have like you can see my face is a bit red, so it's not like huge, but it's like okay, yeah, I'm gonna get fucked here if I don't have sunscreen. So so yeah. Um, sorry, I'm just checking. There's a friend. So there's a whole thing. There's a lot I have to talk about actually. So I'll do it in order. I'll get all the housekeeping stuff out of the way first. Um, so now that I slept for 3 hours, and surprisingly that like was enough to where I'm like I'm awake enough to where I can function again, and I'm hoping that I'll be really tired come like 10, 11 o'clock, maybe like 10 o'clock, and I just pass out at like 10 and then wake up at 8. And then boom, sleep's fixed. Um, that's my hope. Uh, if not, obviously, no, that's what's going to happen. I don't have to him ho around about whether it's going to happen or not. It will happen. And then I'm gonna get some food before I go to bed. I don't know where because restaurants have this like I don't know. It's not every restaurant, but some restaurants that I've noticed on the like around this area, they seem to open back up at between 5 and 6:30 for like evening meals, and so I'm like, huh, like I've seen that a few times with like sushi restaurants or whatnot in the US, but it's like a lot of restaurants are doing that. So again, I'm kind of wondering it's around that time period of like, it could be something as simple as like, this is when it's hottest. And so no one does anything during this period and they like use it as like rest. That could be it. I don't know, but I am jonesing to find out. Um, so I do notice, like an example. I'm gonna pull up the forecast real quick. So there are big swings in temperature. So like, it's like when it gets past 90, it's like 11, and then like 4 p.m. is when it's hottest, and then it crests down. So like right now it's 90, and it's 6 p.m. It's 89, and it like quickly goes down. Um, and I see this being a consistent trend. It looks like. So maybe that's maybe that has something to do with the cultural like difference there when it comes to the different shops or whatever. So, but anyway, I definitely want to get food before it gets too late. I think sun sets at like 9 or 8, so I have time. But yeah, one oh right, paper towels. Okay, hold on. I need to go get the pen. Okay, got my pen. I'm just writing this down as I remember. Okay, so I need sunscreen, paper towels. Okay, so immediately I noticed. I don't know. I'm someone who kind of uses a lot of paper towels because I blow my nose and I like it's like paper towels are kind of like they're my tissue. Um, and I blow my nose a lot relative to like I don't know. There's some I have some weird thing about needing my nose to be like really clear. So I don't know. There's something there, but so anyway, I I mean I'm still tired. um, I I don't know. I hope that I don't like upset people by using a bunch of paper towels. Um, I know that I use them too much. I'll just say that. Like I'm very well aware that I really shouldn't, or at least I should be reusing the paper towels I do use, um, and not just like toss them too fast or whatever. So I'm aware of my issue. Um, Also, the AC is surprisingly very good. I was really worried at first, but the AC is doing great. Um, and in fact, I had to lower the AC because I was like, oh, it's like too cold. Um, so now I have it at 20. What is it? 20. I think it's 21 degrees Celsius. It's like it's like 72 or something. I think is what I picked it at. Let me see. AC, or sorry, I put it at, I think it's put at 21. Okay, 70 degrees. This is 21, which is, I think that's fair. I think that's a reasonable number. Um, okay, so the plane. Let me get the plane out of the way, and then I have something else I want to talk about. Which I kind of talked about on Saturday. Yeah, I think Saturday was the big like 2 hour talk about um, how I kind of rebuild structures and all of that stuff. But so I have a part two technically to that I want to talk about. But so the plane itself, I didn't have any problems leaving the hotel. Everything went well. And then I got the short flight. There was this like I don't know this all I can say is it was like this incredibly scared like young lady that I sat next to on the like small ride, and it was like she was like, and I was like, yeah, look, I get it, uh, you know, but like it was just like, I don't know. It just it made me laugh, honestly. Um, and when we finally did communicate at the very end, because it was like we didn't talk at all to each other, and then we're landing and we're getting ready to leave, and I was like, because they mentioned, um, hey, if you have like a flight that's a connecting flight that's leaving like almost immediately, try to let those people off first. And I saw that she had connecting flight like printed out boarding passes. So I was like, oh hey, are you like immediately, is your flight one of the flights that's going like right away? Like, do you need to go? And she's like, oh no no, and that was kind of it. That was our interaction. But I was like, it was just kind of funny, and I also think she left her bag, if she had a bag, because she just walked off. Um, and everyone else like waited for bags. Now it's very possible that she packed really light and she didn't have like a roller bag, but almost everyone did have a roller bag that was a check-in. So we were all just waiting to get our luggage, which was great. Um, so yeah, everything went well. I ended up having they had a pretzel dog like stand, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I'll have some little pretzel guys. Um, I probably wasn't the smartest decision, but it was fine. Um, I'm so glad I didn't have to use the restroom the whole time I was on the plane. We get boarded. It was slightly different than a normal boarding because they wanted to make sure you had your passport. They're like, you have to have your passport, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Um, and yeah, other than that, it was fine. The Boeing 777 that we were on, it was good. Like, I don't know. I could see, so I'll get to this in a second, but I'll just say I could see where this flight could have been much less comfortable. But again, I'll get to that in a second. So we board. Um, I basically, I sit next to no one for a little while, and then this I don't know. She looked like she was in her mid 20s, but so another young lady like sits on the like aisle seat, and so there's no middle seat like taken at the moment. Um, but I will say that the leg room was just like better. Um, they also gave you like the little what's it called, neck pillow, and like a little cushion. The cushion is basically worthless. Like I tried using it, but it doesn't. It's not quite long enough for me. So I was like, well, I can have half of me on it. It's like this is kind of awkward. Um, so I just didn't use it, and I used it more or less like a pillow, which was fine. But oh man, basically, yeah, I'm trying to think of like, okay, so I get everything like prepared. I have my little game, uh, little box, which I figured out this is actually the superior way for me to go on a plane, is to have my batteries and everything in that one pouch that I bought um, at that one travel store. So that was like a awesome purchase. I'm so glad I got it because it fits everything that I'd ever want to use on the plane. So I did that, and yeah, then it was fine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are we not gonna have a middle seat person? The plane is like just about ready to finish boarding, and I don't see this person. And the lady next to me is like waving and like doing this, and I was like, their like friend or whatever is like um, maybe just boarding or hasn't boarded in yet or whatever. And so she keeps doing this, and I realize she's talking to someone in a higher class seat, and they also have someone that like the middle seat empty. So she wanted to go and hang out with him, but the flight attendant's like, "Yeah, sorry, that's an upgraded seat, and you can't take that seat even though it's empty." And she was very sad. I understand it's kind of bullshit, but I also understand if you didn't pay for the seat, but also like, can't you just kind of upgrade people? Like it literally doesn't. I don't know. It's a thing. So, but maybe because it wasn't first class, it was like just further down in the like economy class. But I think it was like economy class plus, so it had like extra leg room or something. Um, or maybe it had like an extra amenity, so that's why. I don't really know. But anyway, so she's sad, and then the plane is like they close everything and the plane is just moving, and I'm like, well, I look at her and I'm like, well, this is great. We don't have a middle person, and she's like, yeah, I agree. So I was able to slide my backpack to the middle seats under part. Um, so my feet had total like I had all the leg room I could ever want. And that made me realize I actually need to somehow travel with one thing that I put up, like one carry on, period. And then have the little tote thing that has all the electronics as my only thing that's like with me. Because it was an infinitely better flight having the leg room like that. Now, I realize I say this and I'm like, there's no way I can do that when my whole backpack is electronics. like, so, so I'm gonna have to figure out something. Like, I don't know what I would do to make that work. Because right now, everything I have is very important. So, like, you could argue that like the game systems aren't technically important, but it's like sanity check important. If I want to just chill and play, whatever, then having that's nice. Not just for the plane, like being able to just hop in bed and play like an hour of something. Like, I don't know, it's nice for downtime. But I'm at 69% on my battery. Nice. Anyway, so well, that was weird. Okay. You see my backpack in the background and some of the other stuff, like my phone's charging. That's the charging power. If you see back there, back there, oh, there. Um. Anyway, so plane was fine. I didn't realize that they serve a full like meal and then they give you breakfast. I don't know if they do it for all the flights that are doing this like US to Europe thing, but they were actually really good. They had like this. The best meal was the breakfast sandwich. It was like by far, it was so good. I was like, oh wow, I'm surprised at how good it was. But the first meal was fine. It was like meat chunks that they say was steak of some kind, and mashed potatoes, and then some spinach with one cherry tomato. Um, it was very specific. Like they had also like four slices of cucumber, which is just to be clear, that's fine. You're on a plane. Like, what do you expect? Uh, it was more than I thought I was gonna have. So because I was like, oh yeah, I got to eat my like, I got the like they gave us like a snack of some kind, and I was like, oh cool, okay, time to pop open the bar, and then immediately after they bring food, and I was like, oh, they do food, oh, like it's not like some cheap garbage that you're not gonna want to eat. It's actually something decent. Um, So that was like really nice. I was happy about that. I hope that's the way it is on the way back. I don't think I'm taking any other planes aside from. I mean, it could. I don't know because I don't know about the Southeast Asia thing. Now it's 67%, 6 7. Okay, sorry, I'm done. I'm done. It was also 32-32. Okay. So I'm just so brain rotted. I'm sorry. It's this is funny, but anyway. So yeah. So the plane ride was good. I tried to sleep. That is not going to happen unless I can lay down somehow. And I looked at they had first class seats and like some other seat which is in between first class. I think it's business class. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's business class. The business class has like this little like thing. It's like a little cubicle, like a little desk, and then you lay back, like you can lean all the way back. Um, and so I'm like, I'm gonna have to try that at some point, just to see the difference. Like, is it worth it to do that on a flight that's only eight hours? Oh, right. The other thing, there was a bunch of like storms that we had to go around, and so that took an extra half hour. Which it's not the end of the world, but that did suck because it means that we had to add more fuel, and because we had to add more fuel, we left late, and so we ended up instead of being early, which we were going to be early like 20 minutes. Instead, we were late, um, like 15 or 20 minutes. So yeah, again, not a big deal, just like something to point out. Then I went through their like I didn't know that they have this down to a science. Like European like ingenuity at its finest. I land, I follow all the other people. There are people waving you to a bus. You get in the bus. You go through a giant set of lines that get you to the the visa stuff. They auto do the visa thing. Like you don't even need to talk to a person. You're just like you scan the thing, you do the picture. I I I didn't see anyone do fingerprints, but the fingerprint thing was there, so I'm not too sure about maybe you sometimes do fingerprints. I don't know. But anyway, so that was cool. So I got out way faster than I thought I was. I thought it was going to be like a long line or something. Um, there's a nice lady that was just helping everyone like figure out where they're supposed to go. Now I will say this is where I started panicking a little bit because I was like, oh yeah, I really can't read anything. Like the airport, which you would think would have the most like dual language stuff, it had like very little in the way of English, which is fine. Again, that's not a big deal. But that's when it started the like panic and stuff started to kind of creep up on me because I'm already sleep deprived and I'm like, how the heck am I gonna figure this all out? And then I'm just gonna show you guys this because this was like I'm like, wow, there is like a procedure here to get into this place. So there's this key, which I use to get in the like little gate if the gate is closed. Then there's this key to get into the actual building. Then there's this key, which is like this key is like I don't know how the door is very finicky on this key um, to get inside, and then I have this key for my actual room. So it's like I there's so many keys that I have to take care of now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole thing. But the place is nice. I haven't met anyone yet. I do want to meet them. Just I don't know. Like I might be living with them for a week and a half or a week and some change. So I figure the least I can do is like introduce myself when I see them, and I don't know. Maybe they're. I don't know. Everyone seems really nice so far. So I nothing has said to me that like they wouldn't also be nice. So I'm excited. But yeah, so I guess that wraps up like house cleaning stuff. Um, Now I did not expect to hear this because first of all, I didn't even realize that. I mean, I guess I could have guessed, but I guess more of my friends that I've like given the links to have like watched some of the videos. I don't know how much they have watched, but like they've watched enough to be like kind of current on things. And I don't know. I kind of was like I had just released the video where I was talking about the roommate stuff. I had the like mini crash out. It wasn't really a crash out, but it was like me talking about like the frustration I have with how the roommates kind of just don't get it. And it's funny that would be the closest really I get to it, like an actual crash out. Which it's still like leagues away from an actual like crash out, but it's like I don't know. Anyway, but so I don't know. I understand that it's not just the roommates that are feeling like or the previous roommates at this point. I keep calling them just the roommates, but I understand that going down the kind of spiritual path that I've gone and seeing all of the transformations and all of the stuff that I've done and kind of like coming even just like February to now. Like in February, I didn't have a channel, so I wasn't posting anything, and I had never traveled by myself. And now I'm like, this is my third trip. This is the first trip in Europe. I'm literally in Italy right now. It's like there's no way the me back then would have thought that I would be here. Um, so I can understand that, especially because of how drastic and fast the changes have been over these past 5 6 months. Um, I can understand why a lot of the friends that I've made over the past few years have been like, whoa, 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 like what's going on here? Like, is he like having a existential crisis? What's happening? Um, and it's because this is kind of their first time seeing me uh, go through this like transformation. Because this is just how I've lived my life. Is I take time and like crystallize like all the understandings I have for a certain part of my life, and then I like evolve to the next phase, which takes the best parts of that life and like keeps it within me, but from the outside perspective it looks like I've just morphed into a new person. And it can be scary because it's like, well, what happened to the snapshot of Tom that like I remember a year ago? And it's like he's still there. It's just crystallized into like that's a new little part of me that is going to be carried around forever. But it's like I that phase of my existence is kind of over. And it's not that I can't do the things that I used to, but I have to do them from a different perspective and a different lens. And, you know, it's just changes something that I'm not saying that other people don't change, but I think what is alarming for a lot of the friends, especially the new friends who've only known me for a couple years, um, it's like I don't think it's not that other people don't change. I think it's just that for them the change is so total and drastic that it feels like a different person on the surface. And I totally get that. It's kind of like to a very this is going to be not a great analogy, but I'm going to try to shoehorn it in anyway. It's kind of like when people who have ADHD, and they kind of go through phases where they're like, oh, I played a guitar, and I just played the guitar for like a week straight, And then they kind of are like, okay, now I'm done with the guitar. Now I'm going to do the xylophone, or I'm going to do the trombone, or the whatever it is, right? I'm using musical instruments because it's easy to understand. But fundamentally, this is what it looks like from an outside perspective. That's not what's actually happening, but this is what it looks like. It's like, oh, he was a guitar. Now he's a bassoon. It's like, what happened? Um, and so I can understand why this could be like confusing. But in reality, I'm the music player, not the instrument. So the music player still can play the guitar. They've just moved on to a different instrument to play in a different part of the band. And that's kind of how I view, um, from an internal perspective. I'm basically playing a new instrument, but I'm still in the same band. And the band being like, I still got all the friends, the family, the people that I love and care about, and that doesn't change. Now, if someone decides that they no longer want to interact with me because they're like, oh, well, you're now playing the bassoon and I liked you when you were playing the guitar, that's totally fine. That's okay. You know, um, it's sad, but, it's happened my whole life where some people just are not interested in re-getting to know the newer me while like understanding that the old me is still there. um and that's just kind of part of life. Some people will be there your whole life, other people will be there for a little bit. um and I'm always like, I never stop thinking about each of those people, and I still care about them. So regardless of which way things kind of go, um, yeah, you'll still have a place in my heart. So yeah, but it's hard sometimes. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. Um, you know, it is hard, but yeah, you just got to keep going. And I know that in the long term, doing what I'm doing, I know this is kind of how I have to live my life. I feel like if I slowed down or stopped or just like let myself become a snapshot, I don't think I would be happy. And that's really that's tough. Um, Now it doesn't mean that each snapshot has to be different in some drastic way. There are periods that are really fast. There are periods that are really slow. An example, you know, 10 years ago until I moved in with the previous roommates. Like that period was pretty slow, but there was a lot of like deep healing and all sorts of other stuff going on. So it's like outwardly not much had changed, but inwardly it was like this massive thing happening. Um, and then it's just I don't know. It's it's like an added layer of complexity that most other people don't have to deal with because they don't reinvent themselves over and over and over again. So again, not to say that they don't change, but yeah, I realized that it's different, and I didn't really understand this until a couple weeks ago, or I say a couple weeks ago. Jesus, it's only been like a week, or a week and some change, where I like came to this realization. Um, and I still think that it is possible for anyone to kind of go through this kind of stuff. They just have to have the tools to be able to do it, um, which I think people can cultivate. But anyway, I'm getting into the weeds. We're already 50 minutes in. I wanna get food before it starts getting too late. Although technically stuff's opening up, so maybe see if there's a roommate, or a temporary roommate, I guess, that is out there or something that I can talk to or interact with. I don't know. I'll just let it happen when it happens. But I, yeah, I want to get the sunscreen. I want to get the conditioner, and if I can get some paper towels. I'm addicted to paper towels. What can I say? It's rough out here. But here I am. I don't think I'm gonna plan anything tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be try to feel normal and just ground myself. Um, and then apparently you can do the ticket stuff online for the Vatican and for the Colosseum. So I definitely want to go to those two places. I know, tourist being a tourist, I get it. Um, but I think a lot of it is going to be like, I think I'm going to really enjoy just walking around and just seeing how people here live that's different. I don't know. Um, I think it's cool. I'm very excited, and again, I think so far everyone's been really nice, and I'm so grateful for that. Um, I definitely was worried. Not I wasn't worried about the individual people. I was just worried about like struggling to exist. Which, to be fair, it's like there's an added layer when you can't like directly communicate with everyone. Um, but there's Google Translate, and there are people that speak English, so that's good. Um, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Um, I hope like what I explained helps to you guys. The friends that are kind of seeing this unfold and are kind of like whoa, freaking out a little bit. I'm still me. Externally, I'm just playing a different instrument. That's all that's different. Like the like core parts of me, they're still there. The snapshot that you remember, I've crystallized it. It's still a part of me. Um, because it's like I'm not throwing away the previous versions of me. They kind of just like what I kind of use as like the phoenix of like ashes rebirth. So too are these like individual pieces. It's like the ashes are like the best parts of that previous me that get collected up and incorporated into that new like rebirth. So I think yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Um if you're feeling this way, just talk to me. Just like you can just send me a Discord message or whatever. Like I don't know. We're friends. We're still friends. I still love you guys. So that's not going to change. Okay. Bye. See you tomorrow.